Yeah, good morning, students. So, in the previous classes, we have designed the circumferential lap joint and the longitudinal butt joint. And in the today's class, we have our focus is on the eccentrically loaded riveted joint. So, eccentrically loaded riveted joint means the line of action of the force is not passing through the center of gravity of the rivet system. So, there are four rivets. So, center of gravity will lie here. So line of action of the force is not passing through the center of gravity. That's why it is eccentrically loaded riveted joint. For designing such type of eccentrically loaded riveted joint, there are certain steps. So first step is to find the center of gravity. So for center of gravity, by mechanics that you have studied in your first year, you already know x bar is a1 x1 plus a2 x2 plus dot a4 x4 because there are four rivets in our example. So we have taken up to 4 and divided by a1 plus a2 plus a3 plus a4. Right? Let all the rivets are having equal diameter. So they are having equal area. So area of the rivet 1, 2, 3 and 4 all are equal. Let they are equal to a. So a will cancel out from the numerator and the denominator. So x bar will be x1 plus x2 plus dot x4 divided by 4. This is the formula for finding the x bar. X coordinate of the center of gravity from the origin. You will assume something, like you can assume it is 0, 0. So you can write the coordinates at 0, 100 and its coordinates are 0, 200 and these coordinates are 0, 300. Okay, so x1 is 0, y1 is 0, x2 is 0, y2 is 100, x3 is 0, y3 is 200, x4 is 0, y3 is y4 is 300. So this is y4, y3, y2, y1 and x1, x2, x3, x4. x1, x2, x3, x4 are all 0 in our example. So in our example, x bar will be 0 because it is 0 plus 0 plus 0, 0 plus 0 plus 0 divided by 4, so it is 0. And in this case, first value is 0, y1 is 0, other are 100. So 100 multiplied by 3, 3 times other are 100, not 100 by 3. First is 100, second is 200, third or fourth is 300. Divided by 4, so it is 3, 2, 5, 5, 1, 600 by 4, so it is 150 millimeter. So the coordinates of the center of gravity are found to be 0, 150. So x bar is 0, y bar is 150. So first step is over. We have calculated the and found the center of gravity. This is the first step. X bar and y bar. Now come to the second step. In the second step, you have to calculate the primary shear force. Primary shear force we are representing by single dash. On the rivet number 1, it is P1 dash. On rivet number 2, it is P2 dash, and so on. So primary shear force on all the rivets are equal. So on the first rivet, the primary shear force is P1 dash. Second rivet, it is P2 dash. Third one is P3 dash. Fourth one is P4 dash, and they all are equal. So they will be equally divided. So the total force is P, which is 25 kilonewton. So it will be P by N, P by 4, or you can say 25 divided by 4. So it is 6.25 kilonewton. So your primary shear force on each rivet is same, and it is equal to 6.25 kilonewton. Now come to the third step. The third step is secondary shear force. For the secondary shear force, first we have to calculate the moment. So moment at the center of gravity is clockwise here, and it is given by force into distance. The force is 25 and the distance is eccentricity, which is given 100 millimeter in our question. So we will take n equal to P into E. P is 25, E is 100, so it is 2500 kilonewton millimeter. The unit is kilonewton millimeter. So we have calculated the moment. Due to this moment, the secondary shear force will be generated on the rivets in unequal amount. So here C is a constant. Constant is given by m upon r1 square plus r2 square plus r3 square plus r4 square. This is the constant. Once we know the constant, for constant we need m. M we have already calculated 2500 kilonewton millimeter. What is r1, r2, r3, r4? R1 is the distance of the rivet number 1 from the center of gravity. So center of gravity is here. The center of the first rivet is here. Let this is my first rivet. or you can say in this way R1, R2, R3 or R4. You can numbering from top also, you can numbering from bottom also as per your need. So we have calculated y1 is 0. So our numbering is from bottom. So let this rivet is number 1, this is 2, this is 3, this is 4. So this is rivet number 1, center of gravity is here, rivet 1 is here. So this distance is 50 plus 100. So R1 is 150. So in our case, R1 is 150. What is R2? R2 is only 50. What is R3? It is again 50. And R4 from center of gravity to rivet number 4 is 150. So these are the values for R1, R2, R3, R4. Just put these values in this equation and find the value of the constant. And the unit of this constant will be given by, so you are using kilonewton millimeter divided by millimeter square. It is R1 square, so it is millimeter square. So the unit will be kilonewton per mm. If you are using force in kilonewton, then a unit of the constant is kilonewton per mm. Or you can say Newton per mm if you are using the force in newtons. Okay. So from here you can find the constant. So constant will be given by m. M we have already calculated. It is 2500 divided by 50 square. R1 is 150, so it is 150 square plus 50 square plus 150 square plus 50 square. So from here we can find the constant value. Very easy. Now P1 double dash is given by CR1. We are having the value of the constant. We are having the value of R1. R1 is 150. We are having both the values, constant and R1. So we can multiply and we can find the secondary shear force at the rivet number 1. The secondary shear force at the rivet number 2 is given by CR2. C and R2 are available, so it can also be found. Similarly, you can find P3 double dash, P4 double dash on the other rivets, rivet number 3 and rivet number 4. So this step is over. What we have done till you have found the center of gravity, you have found the primary shear force P1 dash, P2 dash, P3 dash, P4 dash, and you have found the secondary shear force P1 double dash, P2 double dash, P3 double dash, P4 double dash. Now come to the step number 4. This is also shear force, this is also shear force. Force is a vector. Now both primary shear force and secondary shear force both are vectors. They are lying in the same plane. When the two vectors lie in the same plane, if the angle is theta, that this is P1 dash, it is P1 double dash. So you can find their resultant by the law of parallelogram, and law of parallelogram gives us P1 double dash square, P1 double dash square, twice P1 dash, P1 double dash, the angle between them. Suppose this is the calculation of rivet number 1, so I will use R1. This is the resultant of the rivet number 1. So we have to find the resultant shear force. There are two vectors. First is primary shear vector and second the secondary shear vector or the force. So you can find the resultant by the law of parallelogram. So R1 means it is the resultant of the rivet number 1. So it is P1 dash square plus P1 double dash square plus twice P1 double dash cos of theta 1. Here theta 1 is the angle between the P1 dash and P1 double dash. Okay, it is the angle. So this angle you can found by the geometry which are given in the diagram. So you have to make the free body diagram for finding the theta 1. And free body diagram we can make. So let me make the free body diagram first. So the rivets are here like in this way. This is fourth rivet, this is third rivet, second rivet, first rivet. Okay, this is the center of gravity. So I am working on the first rivet. So this is R1. Draw the perpendicular. I need the clockwise movement. So make the angle, make the arrow left side. So it will give you the clockwise movement of the center of gravity. Again draw the perpendicular here. Make the angle arrow this side. So it will again make the clockwise movement. Join this R3, make perpendicular and put the angle so that it make clockwise movement on the center of gravity, and similarly here make the arrow, it will. So this is your P1 double dash, this is your P2 double dash, this is P3 double dash, this is P4 double dash. So direction of the P3 dash and P4 double dash are rightwards and P1 double dash and P2 double dash are on leftwards, keeping the concept that all the forces, all the secondary shear forces will make a clockwise movement at the center of gravity. Now the primary shear force is acting downward. So it is P1, P4 dash, and this is P3 dash. Similarly, it is P2 dash and it is P1 dash. Correct? Now, what is the angle between P4 double dash and P4 dash? The angle is 90 degree. And cos 90 is 0. Cos 90 is 0. So this term will be 0. This term will vanish. In this particular example, this term will vanish. So this is 90 degree. What is the angle between P3 dash and P3 double dash? It is also 90 degree. So in our case, theta 4 is 90 degree. Theta 3 is again 90 degree. Now come to this second rivet, P2 dash and P2 double dash. What is the angle? It is again 90 degree. So theta 2 is 90 degree. And P1 dash, P1 double dash, again 90 degree. So here theta 1 is 90 degree. So you have all the thetas. Theta 1, theta 2, theta 3 and theta 4. For finding the theta, you have to first make the free body diagram. You have to show all the forces. You have to show all the primary forces on each rivet and you have to show all the secondary shear forces on each rivet. And by the geometry of the diagram, you find the angles. In this particular example, all the theta are same, but it is not necessary. When the geometry of the rivet system is different, the thetas will be different for the different rivets. Very clear. So, by R1 we will calculate the resultant on the first rivet, R2 second rivet, R3, R4 third and fourth rivet by the law of parallelogram. Okay. Now, come to the step number 5. Find the heavily loaded rivet. We will observe the values R1, R2, R3 and R4. All the 4 values are available to us. We will find the maximum value on which rivet the resultant is maximum. The resultant shear force is maximum. When the resultant shear force is maximum, it means that particular rivet is heavily loaded. And there are chances of failure, more chances of failure on that rivet. So for the safe design purpose, we will design that heavily loaded rivet. If that heavily loaded is working safely, means all the other rivets will work safe because the load is less there. So we will search which R is maximum. R1 is maximum or R2 is maximum, R3 or R4. Okay. So we will search and that R is the heavily loaded rivet. So that R maximum, that R maximum, we will apply the strength equation. Pi by 4 d square is the area of the rivet multiplied by shear stress. So area into stress again make the force. We will equate this maximum force equal to this for the equilibrium and safe design, and then we will find the rivet diameter. Once we have the rivet diameter, means our design is complete. We have designed the eccentrically loaded riveted joint. Design means we have to find the diameter of the rivets, and the diameter of all the rivets are equal because we have already taken A1 equal to A3 equal to A3 equal to A4. Suppose this is the heavily loaded rivet, then we will find the diameter D over here. Whatever is the diameter of the D of second rivet, the same diameter will be kept for the first, same diameter for third, same diameter for fourth. Okay. So this completes the design of the eccentrically loaded riveted joints. Thanks for listening. Stay home, stay safe. Thank you very much.